Hey you guys, it's Chris Gary here. Fever Keeps It Real. Now, I know the popularity for Frank Caliendo's impersonation of Morgan Freeman reading LeBron James's famous essay of him coming back to the Cleveland Cavaliers was something. But I'm about to try and do my own little impression of Morgan Freeman in Brian Scalabrine's return message to the Boston Celtics. Now, for those of y'all who don't know who Brian Scalabrine is, let's just say he's sort of a Mamba who was known for getting off the bench and getting things done. After that, he became a commentator, became an assistant coach, but now he's going back to being a commentator, commentating with the Boston Celtics on their Comcast Sports Net Boston broadcast. So yeah, here's my little take, my little impression of Morgan Freeman reading Brian Scalabrine's return message. Enjoy. Before anybody cared where I would play basketball, I was a kid raised in Enumclaw, Washington. It's where I walked. It's where I ran. It's where I did a paper route at age 6. It's always held a special place in my heart. From the moment I signed with the Celtics, I knew this was my new home. Most of the people are just like me. They work hard, they play hard, and the passion they have for their sports teams is unlike anywhere in the world. I had passion for my team, just like the fans. I guess I was kinda like the fans, except I had a courtside seat for free, and if we were up by 20 with less than 2 minutes to play, I would get to go into the game. Where was I? The great American city of Boston. In Boston, people's passion can be overwhelming, but it drove me. The Celtics hadn't won a championship since the Larry Bird era of the 80s, so I wanted to give them hope when I could. I wanted to inspire them when I could. My relationship with Boston became bigger than basketball. I didn't realize that when I left Boston in free agency 4 years ago. I do now. Remember when I spurned the Celtics and signed with the Chicago Bulls in 2010? Actually, I begged Danny Ainge to keep me, and he wished me the best of luck. I was thinking, this is really tough. I could feel it. I let something I had spent 5 years creating. I haven't paid for a meal since 2008. What if all of this goes away? But if I had to do it all over again, I'd probably still have left. Chicago, for me, has always been like graduate school. I myself had always considered getting my MBA at Northwestern. These past 4 years helped bolster my resume to showcase the well-rounded individual I am. I'm a better player, a better coach, a better broadcaster, and a better Mamba. I'd learned a great deal in my time spent with 4 franchises, actually 5, if you can count my stint in Italy because of the lockout. What was the purpose of the lockout again? I will always think of Chicago as my third home and Oakland probably as my fourth. But not like downtown Oakland, more like the suburbs. Without the experiences I've had in these places, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing today. I went to Chicago because of Tibbs and D. Rose and the crazy energy of Joakim Noah. And it was my only job offer in the States. I loved becoming an everyday customer at Giordano's Pizza. The free meals were back. I loved the fans and the creation of the White Mamba by Stacey King. Chicago was exactly what I needed, and I believed we could do something magical if we came together. But we fell short. So I took my talent to Golden State searching for their championship, and I really believe we could do something magical if we came together. But then I was sent down to the D-League, where we flew to Hidalgo, Texas, on commercial flights, with no first-class sitting, next to a 7-2 named Ognjen Kuzmik. There was nothing magical happening down there, no matter how much we came together. And that's when I knew it was time to come home. I'm doing this essay because I want an opportunity to explain myself uninterrupted and gather some great press based on another recent NBA signing in almost the exact same way. I don't want anyone thinking he and Mark Jackson didn't get along, the Bulls and Warriors couldn't put the right team together. Does anyone really care what Brian Scalabrine is doing right now? None of these things were true. And for the record, I never played for the Warriors. I was just a coach. Didn't people see me holding my clipboard? I don't understand why people couldn't put it together. I was holding a clipboard. I was a real coach. I may have a press conference, and I am definitely having a party, and all of Boston will be invited. And when we are done, we will still have a few months before we have to get to work. When I left Boston, I was on a mission. I was seeking another championship. I wanted to ride in another parade, pop enormous bottles of champagne, and maybe even crash the podium. But Chicago already knew that feeling with MJ, and Oakland already had that feeling in baseball with the Bash Brothers. How did those guys only win one ring together? Seriously. Celtics fans haven't had that feeling since I was last there. My goal is for the Celtics to win the most titles of any other NBA franchise, and I will not sleep until we are done. No question. I always believed that I returned to Boston and finish my career there. I just didn't know when. After the season, I went to see 22 Jump Street. Then I saw they came together with Paul Rudd and Amy Poehler. It was delightful. But I have 2 girls and 1 boy. We have a lovely family. I started thinking about what it would be like to raise my family in Boston. Well, not like downtown, more like Metro West, or at least 20 minutes outside of the city. I looked at other teams, but I wasn't going to leave Oakland for anywhere except Boston, or maybe Chicago, or maybe Brooklyn, or possibly Los Angeles to go back with Doc. The more time passed, the more it felt right. This is what makes me happy. The last time I was in Boston, the fans were all over me. They say I didn't have it anymore, and they challenged me to games of one-on-one. They call it the challenge, and I gave those fans a Beantown beatdown. I took the ball, took their pride, and showed them what the White Mamba was all about. They wrote me letters and asked for my autograph. Some even invited me to their weddings. It got a little weird. Even Bill Simmons has wanted me back for quite some time. I met with Bill, face to face, man to man. We hashed it out. Bill fist pumped on the air during this year's NBA tryout. Everybody makes mistakes. I've made mistakes as well. I once mispronounced Amir Asik's name in Chicago. Who am I to hold a grudge? I'm not promising a championship. I know how hard that is to deliver. We're not ready right now. No way. Of course, I want to win one next year, but I'm realistic. I'm only a broadcaster. What could I really do? It will be a long process, much longer than in 2008. My patience will get tested. I know that. I'm going into a situation with a young team and a young coach. I will be the young Comcast Sports Net announcer in the booth, next to the legendary Mike Gorman, and learn from the greatest color analyst in the game, Mr. Tommy Heinsohn. I know that I have a lot to learn, but I see myself as a champion. And I think I can help break down some great Marcus Smart dunks this season. I think I can elevate Kelly Olynyk's game by the amount of research I make my interns do before announcing road games. And I can't wait to reunite with Rajon Rondo, one of my favorite teammates. Paul, KG, and Ray may have all left, but Rondo and the White Mamba remain in Boston, at least for now. But this is not about the roster or the organization. Thinking twice about it, it really is about the organization. Does it get any better than the Celtics? I get my calling. I feel my calling. Here goes above basketball. Get it? Calling, double meaning. They call that a pun. I have a responsibility to lead in more ways than one, and I take that very seriously. I want kids in Boston, like the hundreds of elementary school kids who have red hair and no chance of making it in the NBA, to realize that there's no better place to grow up. Maybe some of them will come home after college and work at a bank. That would make me smile. Our community, which has struggled, well, not really. Winning 8 championships since 2000 isn't much of a struggle, and I guess the Sox won last year. I should have known that. Where was I? Oh yeah. I want to bring another championship back to Boston. Really? I just want to ride in another championship parade and smoke an overpriced Cuban cigar as a tribute to Red after we hang banner number 18. In Boston, nothing is given. Remember in the movie The Departed, when Francis Costello said, "No one gives it to you. You have to take it." That was a great scene and a great Boston movie. I'm ready to accept the challenge. Boston, I'm coming home.